Indifferent universal consciousness and personal God model. Dear viewer, what if there is an indifferent universal consciousness that oversees all plus a personal God that only exists inside of human beings? Also, what would be the value of prayer in this model? So, imagine playing a game of hide and seek with the universe. You close your eyes, count to 10, and then shout, "Ready or not, here I come." But when you open your eyes, you realize that the universe isn't playing along. It's just sitting there, indifferent and unresponsive. This is what it might look like if there's an indifferent universal consciousness that oversees all existence. In this scenario, the universe isn't a warm, fuzzy and responsive entity that cares about our thoughts, feelings and prayers. Instead, it's a vast, impersonal expanse that's governed by its own set of rules and laws. Ancient philosophers and mystics have toyed with similar concepts for centuries. Think of the Gnostics, who believed the material world was created by a flawed demiurge, not a benevolent god. Or the Stoics, who emphasized living in accordance with nature, accepting what we cannot control. As Douglas Adams so brilliantly put it in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, isn't it enough to see that a garden is beautiful without having to believe there are fairies at the bottom of it too? Perhaps the universe is beautiful, or inspiring even, without needing a personal interventionist God interfering and pulling the strings. The personal God within. But here's the twist. Even if the universal consciousness is indifferent, we might still experience a personal God that exists within us. This personal God is like a spark of divine energy that resides within our hearts, minds and souls. It's the source of our inspiration, creativity and guidance, and it's what gives our lives meaning, purpose and direction. As the philosopher Pierre Teilhard de Chardin once said, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience." This quote captures the idea that we're not just physical bodies wandering around on a planet. We are also spiritual beings with a deep connection to the universe and to each other. Example to ponder. Imagine life as a garden and each person as a gardener. The indifferent universal consciousness is the soil which is rich, fertile and ever-present, but indifferent to what grows within it. The personal God, on the other hand, is the gardener's intuition, guiding the planting, nurturing and tending of the garden. When the gardener prays, they are in tune with their intuition, making mindful choices that lead to a thriving garden. The garden, in turn, becomes a source of inspiration and nourishment for others, creating a ripple effect that enhances the beauty and vitality of the entire ecosystem. The value of prayer in this model. So, what's the value of prayer in this model? If the universal consciousness is indifferent and our personal God is just an internal spark, does prayer even matter? The answer is yes, prayer still matters, but not in the way you might think, dear viewer. Prayer isn't about trying to change the external world or persuade a distant deity to grant our wishes. Instead, it's about tuning into our internal guidance system, listening to our own inner wisdom, and aligning ourselves with our deepest values and desires. As the spiritual teacher Marianne Williamson once said, "Prayer is not a way of making things happen, but a way of making ourselves available to what is already happening." This quote captures the idea that prayer is not about manipulating the universe, but about surrendering to its natural flow and rhythm. Prayer, in this context, is a personal, introspective practice that allows individuals to connect with their internal, personal God. The value of prayer lies in its ability to foster self-reflection. Prayer encourages individuals to examine their thoughts, emotions and actions, promoting self-awareness and personal growth. Provide emotional comfort. Prayer can offer solace, comfort and reassurance, helping individuals cope with challenges and difficulties. Connection to the bigger picture. Prayer can make you feel connected to something greater, even if that something is indifferent. Behavioral and ethical guidance. Your personal God is the one reminding you to be kind, honest, and generous. Prayer reinforces these values, helping you align your actions with your inner sense of what's right. Inspire positive change. By connecting with your personal God, you may experience a sense of purpose, motivation, and inspiration to make positive changes in your life and the world around you. Other quotes to ponder. The universe is under no obligation to make sense to you. Neil deGrasse Tyson. This quote beautifully captures the essence of the indifferent universal consciousness, a force that exists without concern for our understanding. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. C.S. Lewis. This quote highlights the idea of personal divinity, emphasizing the inner God that resides within each living being. Prayer is not asking. It is a longing of the soul. It is daily admission of one's weakness. It is better in prayer to have a heart without words than words without a heart. Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi's words remind us of the true essence of prayer is an intimate connection with our inner God, beyond mere words, changing the external world. But does prayer actually change the external world? The answer is no, not directly. Prayer doesn't have the power to move mountains, part seas, or make pigs fly. However, it can have a profound impact on our internal world, and this, in turn, can affect the external world in subtle but powerful ways. When we pray, we're not just sending out a message to the universe, we're also sending out a message to ourselves. We're reminding ourselves of our values, our intentions, and our aspirations, and this can have a profound impact on our thoughts, feelings, and actions. As the poet Rumi once said, "The universe is not outside of you. Look inside yourself. Everything you want, you already are." This quote captures the idea that the power to create change lies within us, and that prayer is a way of tapping into this internal power. The ripple effect. So while prayer may not directly change the external world, it can create a ripple effect that resonates outwards into the universe. Let's say, for example, you pray for world peace. The indifferent universe or God isn't going to snap its fingers and make it happen, but your personal God might nudge you to volunteer for a charity, donate to a cause, or just be a little kinder to the people around you. Those small actions add up. They might not bring world peace overnight, but they'll make a difference. Here's another thought. As the spiritual teacher Ram Dass once said, the most exquisite paradox is that when we let go of our own desires and expectations, we become the very thing we were seeking. This quote captures the idea that when we surrender to the universe and let go of our attachments, we become the change we want to see in the world. In addition, prayer could affect the collective unconscious. If enough people engage in prayer or similar practices, it's possible that it could have a subtle effect on the collective consciousness, leading to positive changes in society. Listening to the music of the universe. As the poet Hafiz once said, "I am a hole in the flute that the Christ's breath moves through. Listen to this music." This quote captures the idea that we're not just separate, isolated individuals. We are also part of a larger, interconnected web of life. And when we pray, we're not just communicating with our internal God. We are also tuning into the music of the universe and allowing its harmony and beauty to flow through us. In this sense, prayer is not just a personal, individual activity. It is also a way of connecting with the larger web of life and of experiencing our place within it. It's a way of remembering that we're not alone, that we're part of a larger community of beings that are all interconnected and interdependent. As the spiritual teacher Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "We are here to awaken from the illusion of our separateness." This quote captures the idea that our true nature is not one of separation and isolation, but of connection and unity. The power of intention. Lynn McTaggart once said, "Intention is the quantum force that can change the world." This quote captures the idea that our thoughts, feelings, and intentions have the power to shape our reality and to create the world we want to live in. The art of prayer. So, how do we tap into this power? How do we make prayer a meaningful and effective part of our lives? Poet Mary Oliver once said, "Prayer is not a request, but a declaration." This quote captures the idea that prayer is not just about asking for things, but about declaring our intentions and aligning ourselves with our deepest values and desires. Looking for transformation. The idea of an indifferent universal consciousness and a personal God that exists within us is a fascinating and thought-provoking concept. It challenges our traditional notions of God, prayer, and the nature of reality itself. But it also offers us a profound opportunity for growth, transformation, and self-discovery. By embracing our own internal guidance system and by tuning into our own inner wisdom, we can experience the magic and wonder of the universe in all its glory. So go ahead and pray to your internal God. Send out a message to the universe, and more importantly, send out a message to yourself. Remember that the power to create change lies within you, and that prayer is a way of tapping into this internal power.